Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another weekly forecast, and in this one it's going to be slightly different because we've got some trades to sort of break down. So let's break those down first, give you guys some sort of pointers on how I took the trades, and then let's go and look at the weekly forecast for next week. Pretty much thank you for all those guys, for all you guys in the Telegram supporting the free setups. Again, I love it when you guys react because it shows how many more are sort of active and waiting for these setups, because again, this stuff I could be charging for, but I'm doing for free for you guys. So yeah, just anyway, if you ever can just get some reactions out there, that'll be grateful. But again, this is amazing. Pretty much had a fantastic week last week. We caught at least over 230 plus pips, so we caught 200 pips on the first trade at the start of the week, and then probably I think it's like 50 pips currently when the market closed from this message, so it's around about 250 plus pips and still floating. So 200 pips was I know you guys want to sort of see how I took that trade, and sort of figure out how I even entered and why I entered. Pretty much if we start from here, let's start from the top here. So this was where my sell zone initially was. You can see that we were creating some sort of sell side liquidity around the 1915 area, and price wasn't breaking through. We had an initial liquidity on the left here, which was this wick, which I was targeting. Price still hadn't broken that. So again, all of these confirmations were building up, and it sort of you have to have some patience, because if the move doesn't sort of enter my zone, I don't enter. So again, this is sort of what helps me with discipline as well, because again, my sell zone, if price doesn't enter the sell zone, then I know that maybe price won't work. Sometimes price does get away and continue going, so you just have to wait. But a lot of the times, you can see here, because price didn't enter the sell zone, we didn't get that initial push to then continue lower, right? But what ended up happening is that we ended up, it's sort of a blessing in a way, because price ended up falling into our sell zone. And then once it did, that's when price decided to go and decide to collapse after. And this was at the start of the week on a Monday, where price at London session tapped into the sell zone, and then we ended up getting a re-entry at US session, which is extra confirmation as well. Price then rejects. We get that impulse, that instant impulse, rather than for us sitting here for a few hours in profit, then going back into negative and then back into profit. You might as well enter at US session, which again is how I built my strategy up, with the timing as well, the time you enter your trades, what's the best probability. And I've back tested this for years, for about 3-4 years, and then I've put it into play, and that's how I was running my VOP and back to free again, to just show you guys what this strategy is, and just to promote it again, I guess, promote it for free obviously. But yeah, let's pretty much break this down on the chart. I'm sure you guys are eager to see exactly what I was looking for. So pretty much I ended up marking up my sell zone, which again was from the strategy. I can't share that stuff with you guys yet, but what we can share is basic liquidity zones, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys know smart money concepts, and just where liquidity is with fair value gaps and imbalances, and pretty much sell side liquidity, which is created when price bounces off a level multiple times and doesn't break through. That is what sort of built up this trade. So you can see here we have a liquidity zone at around my 1916. Price has not broken lower. We have multiple wicks aiming, showing us that price wants to go into that direction, but not just yet. We again have buy side liquidity, which was created here, liquidity, and we also have imbalances right here. Yeah, and the way I like to trade is, if we mark up the imbalance from there, we can actually tighten that up actually. So let me get rid of that. This shouldn't be yellow. I was on dark mode, so bear with me. Let's just make it black, make the text black. Okay, so we have imbalance here. We can tighten that up where price is touched, which is here. Again, we hide everything from the right because that hasn't happened yet. This is all before the setup. So the way I trade is I like to match the sell zone with imbalances as well. Again, so that's extra confirmation. So it basically starts to improve the probability of the trade, and that's how you end up having fantastic trades a lot of the time. And then if you do have losses here and there, it'll be a minute amount. Again, we need volume for this, so I've learnt the hard way during summer this year that with low volume a lot of the times trades don't work out, a lot of manipulation, it'll end up going through, liquidity is not working how it is. But we're waiting, and we've seen from September that the strategy is still working, which is, you know, a confidence booster for myself as well, because, you know, we're all human at the end of the day. So pretty much price didn't tap into the zone, but we wait, and price ended up pushing back down, touching the demand zone, pushed all the way back up, did not break the lows, remember, so it's still valid, came back in, filled the imbalance at least 50%, and then also tagged into my sell zone. So boom, now I've looked at the chart and I'm like, right, this could go down now. Should I get in? No, I might actually wait, because price, again, when I woke up, it did push down 30 pips, and I'm getting a bit of FOMO here and there. Should I get in? Should I start selling with the SLs above the high? But I waited till US session. We got the initial push up, but again, we had the same sort of thing on the 5-minute time frame, guys. This is crazy, right? Again, my sell zone would have been marked up here for my trade, but we also have imbalances, which was created from the London session push, which came and got collected from the US session, and that basically backed up our trade. We entered, SL was above, you know, the zone. It was around about 131, I believe, 132. So I say around about 30-40 pips, but the target was crazy. You know, we were targeting at least 200, so we're definitely expecting, you know, more than at least 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. And then once price tapped that, we were expecting an instant reaction, and we did an instant 80 pip reaction, breaking all the previous lows. And again, this was all shared right here. The limits were placed right 29, 30, 31, 20 pip stop loss, sorry guys, so it was even tighter than I expected, right? And then, you know, again, we had those reactions of where people were trying to get in. Fantastic. It basically shows me that a lot of people ended up entering this trade as well and followed my sort of analysis. Here we go, the price ended up pushing down 80 pips, and that's it. This is where we hit. So let's take half and secure the positions. I'm targeting 1919 and below, right, which is back below these previous lows. The trade is now secure. What ends up happening is 1919, which is right here. Did price push towards 1919 and below? Let's mark this up with a box here, this wick, and let's just put it as a liquidity zone, for example. We zoom out, and there we have it. The next day price ended up pushing straight through 1919 and continued pushing down, and that was when we ended up getting our TP2 get hit right there, and then fantastic stuff, full TP 200 pips, and we took the trade. We closed the trade, we're done, we're happy with 200 pips. Price is in my buy zone here, so this is where I was a bit hesitant, but you know, sometimes the buy zone doesn't always work out. I wasn't going to buy just because of the fact we just had a great impulse move. Let's just slow down and wait. No need to take every single trade. But even if you did take the buy zone, let me just sort of remark it. It was around about here. It would have been one annoying trade, right? Here was the buy zone. If I just mark it up, we had loads of chop, especially from CPI as well. It would have been a very annoying trade, so I'm glad I did not get into that. But price ended up clearing the liquidity below 1902 and then pushed straight back up. And that is what leads us to our next setup, which was for this week. And I'm still currently in that trade. Price has then now retraced the impulse move. We're trying to still see, do we have some downside momentum still in play here? So we get rid of everything. Actually, we'll switch over to this chart. Give me a second. And again, you guys can rewatch this video if it's too fast for you, but I'll be doing a lot more videos like this, so you guys can sort of keep up and start understanding how I trade. So pretty much we have the same sort of sell zone. I'm expecting, the reason why my sell zone is this high is because I like to get in right at the top of the move. This gives me a very tight SL rather than entering sells, because I know there was quite a few people entering sells around about here, right? But many people were entering sells on the Friday here. They expected price to sort of just turn around and push down, but I was waiting a lot higher up. You can see the difference. This is 110 pip SL, right? The previous high, and this is a 40 pip SL. So, you know, I'd rather take the 40 pip loss than 150 pip loss. I never exceed 100 pips on the SL because that's a bit too much. But pretty much here, price we expected to retrace, and then we did push up a little higher. I must say, I must be honest. This initial setup that I sent, this SL did get tagged at 1930, so I had to send it again saying I'm reattempting with a 1931 SL, because although we did get spiked out, it's just good to go again if the risk is right. to see what you could get, and then we did, and then we managed to make our money back from the first loss. So that's 50 pips there, and this pretty much leads into our next week's forecast. So what I'm expecting for next week, right? If we take this a little slower here for you guys listening for the next week's forecast, you can start seeing that perhaps there's a sort of head and shoulders forming, right? We tapped the demand zone twice here. Price ended up breaking around 1901, bouncing straight back up, and I'm expecting for price to push back down to this 1903 zone, and if you can get that, then we could be expecting price to push back down to 1883, which is the last support zone where price bounced. This is a liquidity area because it still has not broken the prior bounce. So we had a bounce here at 1886, price pushed up to 2070, price then came back down, and it's slowly sort of trying to collect back down here. And if we look below, what do we have? We have a lot of area where we had a great impulse. There's a lot of liquidity sitting there, so we could reach that area. That'd be a great target to sort of tap into. If we can tap into here, this is where we start sort of switching our bias to see if we can get some buys back in. I'm sure the buyers are waiting down here, so that's what I'm looking for. We have a head and shoulders sort of for pattern forming, and from Monday, Tuesday at the start of the week, I would like to see price to retrace the move that we had on Friday, right, to sort of push back down here. Apologies. Pretty much that sort of covers the weekly forecast. If on Monday we do see price push back up into the sell zone, back above 27, then this will slowly invalidate the sell setup, and I'm expecting price to push a lot higher here again, and we'll see how it plays out during the market. So there's no point sort of covering all angles. Let's just take something with the highest probability, and then let's just trade it. Pretty much, yeah. If you guys are enjoying the free setups, don't forget to react to every setup that you sort of enter. If you guys are not in the free channel, the link is in the description, guys. I'm sending free setups. It's free. Why not just join in, see what you can learn? And pretty much it. Yeah, that's the weekly forecast. I hope you guys enjoyed the new sort of layout of these videos. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment on how I could sort of improve. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. It's a waste from EEFX. Peace out.